Boom! Wow, I just got goosebumps. Damn, Fern. Damn, he's pretty OP too. Damn! They just created a platform for 1v1 because of his hesitation with killing, because of his desire to reinvent himself by accepting and forgiving of his past. He had the adequate amount of mana left at the brink of failing the test to successfully capture the Steelbird. Hello friends, my name is Benoit Kim, a psychotherapist and educator. Today's video, episode 20, titled Necessary Killing. What a paradoxical title that is. Let's see how many names I mispronounce in today's video. Keep track. This video is sponsored by Assassination Zero, our new sponsor tier. Shout out to the best patron family. Let's tune in. We're starting with the fighting scene immediately. Okay. Whoa, invisible slicing? What's Ubel's magic? She's not even waving her wand, dude. Damn. Invisible slice? Oh, damn. Ubel has no injuries so far. Wow, she's also OP. 5 meters.
また基礎的な魔法で殴り合うの？あいつが使うのは勝つための卑怯な魔法。多分殺されちゃうわよ。では。
Oh! Damn! Dude, that speed, the lightning speed of casting. OP. Wow. Saturation attack. Damn! Yo, look at this animation. Oh my goodness. Fern the cannonball? Yo!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Boom! Wow, I just got goosebumps. Damn, Fern. Whoa, what a start to episode 20. We're seeing some peak actions at last in this mage tournament. Super stoked. I've been recording Death Notes, so I'm very excited for a switch of pace and a different type of psychological highlights for you guys. Couple of things. So the mage that was fighting Fern talked about how Ubel. I forgot the other mage that was fighting Ubel's name. I think it's Warbel. I'm sure you guys will let me know. The mage was saying that his magic is void of character, it's underhanded, its sole purpose is winning. In other words, killing the enemy to survive. It's a survival type of magic. Although I haven't seen the type of magic yet, since he was merely defending himself against Ubel's invisible 5-meter radius cutting magic. But that's another callback, as I mentioned in the previous episodes, of Flemme the legendary mage teaching to Frieren. We have to be underhanded to defeat the ultimate underhanded creatures, demons. So that's a great callback. Secondly, can we just appreciate Fern's OPness? And I mentioned this in the previous episode as well, where I think one of the intentions for mage tournaments is to highlight different characters, multitude of them to be exact, outside of the sole focus on Frieren. Fern is also a protagonist of her own. She has her own personality, characteristics, her own traumatic upbringing, and stories I think is shifting to emphasis and spotlight Fern more and more. Case in point, her OPness, since she's usually the background and the sidekick to Frieren. But in the mage tournament, she's no longer a sidekick, but rather an independent and thriving, powerful mage of her own right. So that's amazing to see. I do have a question though before we continue the video. To my understanding with the magic systems in Frieren's world setting, I thought you have to be able to visualize to cast it. That's a callback to Frieren's comments. She said that you have to be able to visualize it to cast the magic. So my question about Ubel's magic type is it's invisible. So how do you visualize what cannot be seen? And so does Ubel's magic kind of contradict the magic system so far? Or is it still within the constraints and the limitations of the magic system that I'm unaware of? So I'd love for someone to point that out. How is she able to cast her invisible slicing magic when one cannot visualize what is invisible? Let's continue. Necessary Killing. What a title. Oh, whoa. Hold on, where'd that come from?
体が動かない
Paralysis
魔
magic?
力も操作できないな
Whoa.
強力な拘束魔法か
Physical
こんなのがある
and
なら
mana binding?
自力でシュティレ捕まえればいいじゃんシュティレが見つけられなければ無用な長物か
Good point.
俺の魔法は封じる魔法
What? Through
俺
his
がお前から
sight?
目をそらさない限りその状態のお前なら簡単に殺すことができる
しかもこいつ手加減していたな 本
He
当
was
に
holding
殺す
back,
つもり
huh?
ならあの奇襲段階で動きを封じていたはずだ
Interesting. Interesting.
チャンスだ
He canceled it.
シューティレ
He's sparing her
なんだ
Ubel.
つまらないせっかく殺し合いができると思ったのに結局シュティレを脅し取ることが目的か、待ってなんでそんなこと命令する必要あるの動けなくなった私からシュティレを奪えばいいじゃん
Can he also not move? Because of the limitations. Is that the limitation? Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. He can only look at one object at a time?
視界に全身を収めてないと無理なの
Oh,
大人数
wow.
相手に使わないわけだ
Limitations.
俺がお前の立場だったら殺すために首を狙うそれで戦いは終わりだからな
Fair point.
お前にはそれができたはずだ戦場でも同じようなことをした奴らはいたぞ、
Hmm.
そいつらは全員殺しを楽しむ変態だった
Hentai.
お
Perverts
前
who
は
love
ここ
killing.
で殺しておくべきだな
女子供を殺したことあるの
ねえと思ったのか
This is very interesting. I'm excited to analyze
ど
this
ん
after
な
the
地獄を
pause.
見てきたの
Hmm.
時間稼ぎかいいだろ乗ってやるよ
So quick pause before the backstory of Warbel. Guys, I don't know, dude. I've committed Warbel. It is, right? So there's a lot of deep yet subtle psychological undertone in that dialogue and the fighting scene between Ubel and Warbel. So couple of things. Ubel said that Warbel had numerous chances to enter by using the full binding magic through his sight. Of course, one of the limitations of Warbel's magic was denoted. It has to be within his complete sight for the binding spell to be in effect. Obviously, if he's binding Ubel's full body, her full body needs to be part of his sight. That makes sense. That's why he couldn't let go and had to command Ubel to drop the steel bird. That makes sense. But I want to zoom in on Ubel's extremely astute monologue. She was saying that he had numerous chances to end this by killing me in the very beginning. That's very true. Ubel does not know the type of magic or the limitations for Warbel in the beginning of the fight. So Warbel could have 100% sneak attacked as the other mages highlighted by being underhanded, by binding Ubel in the beginning and ended the fight in a slight moments without any notice. Yet he did not. I think the backstory, and this is the reason why I paused right before Warbel's backstory, because I want to share some predictions and my psychoanalysis preemptively. I think Warbel represents moral injury. What that means is, definition right here, when we do things against our own ethics, we feel this guilt. But moral injury is like the highest level of guilt possible. A lot of veterans and combat veterans suffer from this because yes, sometimes killing is justified as an act of self-defense. And for the military personnel, when you're fighting against the enemy, you have to kill or you will be killed and your battle buddies are at stake. But a lot of times killing is of course not justified. So I think for Warbel, he suffered high degree of moral injury just from a couple of things. One, hesitations of killing. As Ubel denoted, he's had numerous opportunities to kill her, yet he did not. Second, towards the end, when he finally revealed the powerful binding magic, not only binds Ubel's physical body, but also mana regulation. Without mana, mages are obsolete, they're useless. Yet he paused and gave her yet another chance. And that's the reason why now the fighting continues. So those are a couple of incidences where we see that clearly Warbel had an upper hand and the killing was 100% within the horizon of possibilities, but he hesitated. That's the indication of moral injury. I think the necessity of the past killing is, I'm sure, part of the warfare and the backstory Warbel is about to share with us and Ubel. It's in conflict with the present constraint. He does not have to kill to capture the steel bird. It's not a matter of necessity, as he had to, sounds like in the past, on the battlefield. So it's the past necessity in conflict with the present constraint. That's why he's hesitating. And secondly, he is truly, I think, trying to rewire and recondition himself as a result. Because the only way to interrupt either moral injury, PTSD, depression, anxiety, whatever mental health conditions you name it, the only way to interrupt that cycle is to break the pattern. Actions speak louder than words, and behavior patterns do not lie. So to change our past, we have to recondition and change our behaviors of the present to break that cycle. And our behaviors, by behavior activation, definition right here, using behaviors to activate our mood and our new conditions and new self that we aspire to be, also helps rewire our nervous system. It rewires our nervous system over time because we become what we repeat over time. So we have to change our behaviors. And I think that's what Ubel is showcasing. Last thing I'll say before the end of my analysis is Ubel. She's a very fascinating character.
This is the thing I'm talking about right here. Absolute perfection. This right here is absolute perfection.
I've wondered about this since the Mage tournament began. We saw that she's killed those bandits in the beginning before Kraft the Monk came to save the new bandits by sparing their lives from Ubel. So I thought that she was like the typical bloodthirsty individual who enjoys killing, but I think it reveals something more. First thing I'll do is I'll give her a brief diagnosis of ASPD, definition right here. Antisocial personality disorder, or colloquially known as sociopathy or sociopath. We see a couple examples of her antisocial traits. First, she does not have any remorse over killing, very sociopathic. Second, she thoroughly enjoys, or appears to be, she thoroughly enjoys killing. Third, she has the component of methodical approach to killing people and combat. We've seen that throughout the Mage tournament so far. So with those three traits alone, I can already give her a brief diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder, or ASPD, although of course I would need more clinical data. But the last thing I'll say about Ubel, which is also very subtle, is her existential nihilism. Definition right here. Her existential nihilism is not in the traditional sense of having no feeling no sense of purpose, everything is meaningless, but rather, I think she uses death and killing to affirm her existence. Act of killing and combat for Ubel is an act of affirming her existence. Why? For folks, just like Ubel, with that existential nihilism background, death is the only constant. And that's why Ubel's monologue when Ubel gave her another chance towards the end is, damn, he's no fun to fight. I finally thought I found an opponent who's willing to fight to the death. So she could come off as suicidal, passively so, but I don't think it's suicidal in the traditional SI, suicidal ideation, definition right here. But rather, again, she's constantly seeking death. The death of her enemies, but also passively the death of herself, because to her, death is the only constant. An act of seeking death affirms her existence. Very deep. Now let's see the backstory to see if my analysis is complete off track or am I onto something. Strong start to the episode. So he's a combat veteran, part of a Mage Corps military. Damn. That's rough. So he's killed children and women as necessity, like I said. Damn, that trauma. Ubel was waiting to be killed. Interesting. Whoa, exactly what I said. Ubel is in conflict because of his moral injury. He doesn't want to kill anymore. He wants to break his behavior pattern of the past. He's trying to reinvent himself. Not true. I think he's lying. Quick pause. Though I may hesitate, I've always killed everyone I had to. That's a key point. had out of necessity. He only kills under the circumstances of necessity because he does have a moral conscience and he's actively trying to reinvent himself because we do not get to change our past. There is no such thing as time travel machine. If there is, and if you invent one, hit me up. So the only thing we can do is moving forward by changing our ways of living. And that's what he's doing right now because he's only killed when he had to out of necessity. Wow. He's not gonna kill her. He's not gonna do it. Oh, damn. I guess we'll never know, huh? He did hesitate, though. Damn, that mana suppression. Shout out to Frieren, the sensei.
運が良かっただけだよ。偶然シティレのねぐらを見つけて、その子は鳥を捕まえる魔法を師匠から教わっていた。あんたはな。
I like how they're having a casual dialogue in this seemingly life and death scenario.
殺しました。
I don't think FERN... Did FERN kill her? No. I think FERN's lying. Is this the strategic deception? Okay, that's the mission.
私を殺すんじゃなかったの？
Hesitation, what I say. See? He's actively trying to change himself. Damn.
ユーベレ様、わかってるよ。
I don't think Ubel was gonna attack him either. Spare by mercy, Ubel. Be grateful.
嘘上手じゃん。今のうちにランド様の
I knew it.
使いましょう。
I knew it.
大丈夫でしょう。あのメガネくん、相当な食わせ者だよ。
Another quick pause before sounds like very dramatic fight scene. I love how melodramatic this episode is so far. Amazing. Quickly talk about the strategic deception that I surmised before Ubel confirmed it, saying that you're a good liar. And what we know about FERN is she's not a killer. I mean, we're 20 episodes deep. Duh. But I want to highlight the psychological tactic that FERN did. Her strategic emotional detachment from temporarily violating her ethics of deception. She's willing to lie strategically by temporarily compromising her moral compass, like I said, to save her teammate Ubel. So in that sense, for the greater good of saving a sacred life, aka Ubel's life, she's willing to temporarily suspend her ethics by lying. And it's not that deep of a lie, right? Because it looks like she did not kill the opponent because I've never seen FERN kill any human so far. And I don't think she is willing to do that because she is the ethical regulator in this episode. I think she represents ethic at the same time who's strategic enough to do what it takes, necessarily speaking, without killing someone to achieve the greater good. And I think that's a beautiful demonstration of ethical compromise because she did not deeply violate her ethic, but a minor one. And she was able to save her I almost said her roommates.
And they were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
She's able to save her teammate Ubel and also spare the life of Werbel by stopping Ubel and also the mage that she initially fought in the sky by just literally blasting her away into the moon. So amazing. FERN has grown a lot, seriously. Beautiful to see. Whoa, what is this? Are those metals or feathers? Oh, it sounds like metal. Oh. Damn. Floating metal? Wow. You can invent your own magic? Dude, what is going on? What? I guess science is also inventing. Huh. He's quite the analyzer. Methodical observation. That's exactly Frieren's approach throughout May's tournaments. Oh, what? I just got goosebumps. What in the world? Naruto cloning? Wow. That was a clone the whole time? Ubel was right. Damn. Yeah, see? FERN is not a killer. Proud of you, FERN.
魔力切れかよ。だっせえな。魔法学校の
Dude,
史跡だ。
Fern literally with her sheer cannonball attack drains this mage's mana.
一般攻撃魔法の物量で押し切られたわ。
Wow.
さばききれなかった。
Wow.
信じてないでしょ。
いいや。
Damn.
バカみたいに正
Dude.
面から戦いやがって。お前なら勝てねえ勝負じゃなかったはずだ。だが一般攻撃魔法だけでこれほどの芸当ができるとしたら、あの女は相当なバカな。
Fern the nasty monster?
シャルフと合流する。
待ってよ。歩けないんだけど。
Damn. Complete
仕
exhaustion.
方ねえな。
Oh, Warbell, you're a nice guy. Good teammate.
ちょっと物みたいに運ぶつもり。おんぶして。
Yo, that's a parallel and shout out to Stark, huh?
なんてこと
Damn, no one ever carried poor Stark.
の反応は近いの？
あの茂みの向こう側だ。おいシャルフ、エーレを運ぶの手伝って。
He's also passed out.
ビアベル、おんぶしてくれ。しびれて動く。
Yeah. Oh, dude, males in this show just get floated. Oh, hell, that was hilarious.
この音何かしら。
雨音だろ。結界の外で雨が降り始めたんだ。
Hmm. Oh yeah, the barrier
まるで俺
blocks
の
the
今の
rain.
心境だぜ。
It's like my current mental state.
第一次試験終了だ。こんな状況じゃシティはもう奪えねえ。俺たちの不合格は確定だな。
それなのに私たちを助けてくれるんだ。
Yeah.
優しいな。
Warbell, you're a nice guy.
彼を捨ててってもいいんだぜ。
見捨てないで。
泣くんじゃねえよ男だろ。
あなたが魔族と戦う理由。
Wow. He saved her.
あなたは私の村も救ってくれたわ。
バカが。
わお
優しさなんかで命張れるか。人間は欲望のために戦うんだよ。
Redemption. I think he's fighting for redemption.
下心だ。故郷に好きなやつがいたんだよ。今からちょうど29年前、北側諸国の魔族の動きが
Wow, all these characters are getting their own backstory. Interesting.
バカなガキでな。
So I guess they're not
格好つけちまったんだ。
meaningless side characters. They also play a
そったれな
role
魔族どもは
in the world
俺が
building.
全員ぶっ殺してやる。だからその時はこの村に帰ってこい。
4つか5つのガキの頃の話だ。顔も名前も覚えちゃいねえ。
That's a callback to Old Man Vol.
バカみたいね。
ああ、バカみたいだ。
Quick pause. Dude, there's so many subtle but extremely powerful callbacks. What Rebel's backstory? I met a girl 29 years ago when I was 4 or 5 years old. I fell in love. So I defended your village, not because I'm a saint, but because the promise I made to the girl I used to love, even though I no longer remember her face or her name. This is a parallel callback, another paying homage to Old Man Vol. It's identical scenario. This is beautiful to see. Another callback between the dialogue between Ubel and the mage, I don't know her name. They were like, damn, Fern overpowered you with ordinary attack magic. That's a callback to what Fern told her in the beginning of the fight in the last episode. My master told me that with my training, although it's air quote old school and outdated, not as flashy, not as fancy, but ordinary magic is enough to defeat the magics of this era. And that was proven correct. If anything, Fern I annihilated this unknown name mage, right? My apologies for not knowing your name. So that's another callback and another homage to Frieren, her astute teaching, the legendary nature of her mentorship, and so much more. So it's two beautiful homage and callback to Old Man Vol and also Frieren and her teachings. Amazing.
帰りはまた帰ろうか。俺、船酔いひでんだよな。
私のおじいちゃん紹介しようか。
Hmm?
一級魔法使いだから陸路で。ね、ビアベル。
Her grandpa is the first rank mage. What? Dude, no way. Yo! What in the... Wow, karma is real. Beautiful karma. Beautiful
回
karma.
ってくんのが遅すぎんだよ。
Wow. Another quick pause. Dude, I just got another full body goosebumps. That might be the most fitting scene I've seen in a long time across many different shows, not just anime. That karma is real and such a beautiful full circle of you receive what you put out in the world. In this case, positive energy and grace and mercy. Here's the only reason why they were able to capture the steel bird before I guess they are going to fail the test. First reason, 2 of Ubel's teammates were exhausted of mana. So there is no mana detection available for the steel bird because they had no mana left. And Ubel looks like he's good at mana suppression, possibly, but most importantly, he had mana remaining to cast the binding spell, which is powerful according to Ubel. He was only able to cast a binding spell with the luck of the draw, only because he did not engage in unnecessary killing, which could have depleted more of his mana. So because of his mercy, because of his hesitation with killing, because of his desire to reinvent himself by accepting and forgiving of his past, he had the adequate amount of mana left at the brink of failing the test to successfully capture the steel bird. And last thing I will say is, it just hit me, power of caffeine. I've talked about numerously that the steel bird represents numerous psychological symbol throughout the mage tournament so far. I just glimpsed into another symbol. I think the steel bird represents innocence. Yes, it has the top speed, faster than the speed of sounds. And yes, it could break through mana and so on. But at the end of the day, it's an innocent bird. It likes water, it's very non-violent, it's peaceful because it doesn't attack people. It only escapes. But what is the entire mission of this mage tournament? Doing whatever it takes for the sake of mage tournaments. So it's this paradoxical conflict of Steelbird representing innocence and the pursuit and the capturing of this symbol of innocence through whatever killing and whatever means possible. And I think it's a very deep symbolism. And again, it goes back to my question in the introduction. I think it's begging all of us to truly contemplate and ponder, does the ends always justify the means? Should we really do whatever it takes for the sake of our goal? Or can we make compromises? Can we still abide by integrity and dignity and the respect for one another? Just as Ubel demonstrated beautifully and FERN. They both might have compromised their moral ethics in the tiniest, most minor sense, yet they were able to achieve the desired outcome without inflicting any killing and ultimately violating their moral ethics. So what do you guys think? Does the ends truly justify the means? I hope you guys really contemplate and think about this question throughout this video. Let's see this Kung Fu mage. So the second part of this episode is the fight continuation. Wow. This old mage knows immediately. What's the... what? Yo, Frieren is so nonchalant. Is it teleport? What's the magic? Wow, this bird is chilling on the teacup. Whoa, where did she come from?
第二次試験の試験官はお前だったな。
今回も有望な受験者を何人も知らせたみたいじゃないか。
Are these two the facilitators or proctors of the maze tournament?
それに一級魔法使いにはお前もそれは分かっているはずだ。
That much worth? The worth of taking other people's lives?
魔法使いの試験に魔力探知が通用しない獲物を選ぶだなんて捕まえられるかどうかは運任せ。これは争奪戦に見せかけた対人戦だ。
運も実力のうちだ。
This is exactly what I said with my stillbird analysis.
キレを捕まえた連中もいるようだ。あと3時間で日没だ。
3 hours left? Okay.
激化するぞ。
That's not a lot of time. Yeah. Final showdown, baby.
誰が勝ち上がると思う
？3分の1は残るだろう。その中に電圏は確実に。
Damn, elimination rate of 2/3?
Damn. 一級魔法使いと比べても遜色はない。
富と権力にしか興味のないご老体がなんで今更こんな試験に。目的はやっぱり特権。
So he is an imperial mage, as I suspected.
思うところでもある
His mannerism, his speaking of power.
今の子が使った魔法ってさ、ジルベーアでしょ
Jurver? What is that?
南側諸国の山岳民族に伝わる民間魔法だ。
ああ、そうだ。
ジルベーアって
I was about to ask.
高速で移動する魔法だったら二人はそのまま隠れていた
Oh, it's not teleport, it's just extreme speed?
だけシュティレを持って逃げればいい。
ラウフェンはまだ未熟者でな。 魔力の痕跡を残しすぎた。
I see.
お前なら容易に追跡できるはずだ。
They're covering her tracks. Wait, how does he know her name?
お前はわしらを煩わしく思っておる。
How does he know Frieren's name? What the heck?
私のこと知っているんだ。
わしらの世代でその名を知らぬ魔法使い。
Yo! Fucking know her.
直接これ
What?
で見るのは初めてだが。
Yo!
目見て確信した。お前は勇者一行の魔法使い。
Wow!
フリーレンだ。
Goosebumps.
有名なの？もしかしたらとは思っていたが、エルフってマジで年取らねえんだな。結局堂々と
Dude, I'm freaking goosebumps. Oh my gosh.
と嗅ぎ回って
Confrontation of legend!
もっと卑怯な手で
Right before their eyes.
いや十分卑怯さ。電剣がお前の足止めをしている間に俺がそっちのガキ二人。
Yeah, right. Got luck. Trying to kill Frieren's teammates?
パーティーメンバーがかけて合格条件を満たせなくなれば、こっち
Oh,
は
okay.
引かざる
So they're gaming the system using the rules.
ってみろよ。ラビーネ、こいつ強いよ。知ってるよ。
やめろリヒター。わしらは足止めができれば。
Oh, you're about to get wrecked by Frieren.
電剣。俺はあんたはもっと無慈悲で冷徹な人間だと思っていたんだが。
電剣。
宮廷魔法使いだろ。
Yo, I called it Impure Mage. Makes sense. Is this about another necessary killing?
人死にの価値があるとは思えんだけだ。
Wow, he only kills out of necessity
魔法
again.
使いなんてただの将棋だ。
Wow. Homage to the title again.
呆れたものだ。
Not to you, Frieren.
まさか
You're the
特権の知ら
legendary
せの試
mage.
験に挑んだのか？
特権
She's so
前に
clueless.
突如として歴史の表舞台に現れ、人類の魔法使いの大陸魔法協会
Who
の
is
創
that?
始者、
Siri?
大魔
Siri?
法使いゼーリエは、
Reign over
魔王軍
humanity
と
mentioned?
の長い戦火の時代の洗練された魔法使いを未だに追い求めている。
Is that an elf?
だから彼女
Oh, I've seen her in the
一級魔
introduction.
法
Yo,
使いの
another
座につい
elf.
た者に特権を与えることを約束した。
Another
一
elf.
つだけ望んだ魔法を授けるとな。ゼーリエは人類の歴史上のほぼ全ての魔法を網羅する生ける魔導書。
Encyclopedia
この
of
地上で全知全能の
magic?
女神様に最も近い魔法使いだ。巨万の富を得ることも絶大な力を手に入れることだ。
Dude, who is this freaking elf mage, dude? Siri? Siri?
つけられるということは魔法使いにとって願いが叶うに等し
Holy
いこと。
crap, dude. Yo, how OP is this mage? What the
おかげ
heck?
で今や一級魔法使いは人外を疑うほどの化け物揃いだ。
Wow. Yo, Siri is like distorting the
Baka-bakashi.
humanity because of this privilege.
あんたみたいに特権なんてどうでもいいって方が少数派だ。
Oh, you're gonna regret this, bro.
電剣、そいつを1分足止めしろ。
You're gonna
それだけあ
regret
れば
this.
2人とも殺せる。
何度も言わせるなリヒター。たかがガキ二人だ。
Duncan, you're also a good dude.
ガキの重りくらいできるだろ。
電剣。
Oh, okay. Another parallels to Werbel.
こいつはわしが叩き潰す。
He only commits killing out of necessity,
おいぼら。
not a bloodthirsty sociopath.
ルグラント。
Rock magic? Oh! Damn! Oh! Whoa! Damn, he's pretty OP too. Damn! They just created a platform for 1v1? Dude. Yo, next episode's about to be hype! The young ones. But to Frieren, everyone's young. Yo, let's go! Wow, 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 wow. Dude, next episode's about to be peak with some 1v1 actions of Frieren. I don't know if Duncan is powerful enough for Frieren to go all out. So we'll see what's the percentage of mana and her full throttle horsepower she will go lash against Duncan. Last thing I will say, as I mentioned during my live commentary, because I couldn't curb my enthusiasm, to close out today's video, is Duncan is a very interesting character. I suspected, and I think I asked out loud in one of the previous episodes, whether he's like an Imperial Mage, because of his deep knowledge and insider knowledge about political power. And he talked about not all powerful mages become politically powerful. And it's the ones that survive commands great power, right? It's like the similar, I guess, parallel with the modern context. Politicians or powerful politicians and high-ranking authorities, they don't have to be the smartest. They don't have to be the kindest. They don't have to be the most ethical, since a lot of politicians are not that ethical, let's be honest. But They survive and they do whatever it takes. And they're good at commanding and using and hiring other talented people, just like the president or governor or mayor, anything in between. But here's what I want to zoom in on. Duncan has made it explicitly clear that he's not going to kill those 2 children. So just constrain them and put them to sleep for 3 hours. He repeated it many times to a point that he warns his teammate that this is my final time saying it. Just put them to sleep. We will not kill children. And then that was followed by him saying that, and his sentiment, that first mage certification is not worthy of killing. So that's a callback, as I mentioned, and a parallel between him and Warbel and the title of this episode, Necessary Killing. Duncan only kills out of necessity. Sounds like when he was ascending to the political power, because obviously in medieval time, which is the context of this show, killing was very, very normalized, especially in the political sense. If you look at dynasties, Roman Empire, Chinese dynasties, and anything in between, children or sons will kill their fathers to become kings, and fathers will kill their sons to maintain their crownship. So killing was ubiquitous throughout great dynasties, great eras of ruling, and so on. But here, Duncan is restraining himself. I don't know if he's trying to reinvent himself the way that Warbels is trying to, but at least from what it was seen, he does at least have some sort of a moral compass. He goes with justifications and rationale to back up his killing. That's why he's not committing senseless killing, just as what a psychopath would. So he's not a psychopath. And I like his last comments to Frieren. Oh, young ones are so reckless. That's another callback to the first demon during that demon ambassador that was sent out to trying to infiltrate and take down the magic dome and the barrier. He said when one of his underling was killed by Frieren, he's saying that, oh, young bloods are so inexperienced and so hot-headed. That speaks to that some type of wisdom can only acquired through experiential learning. But it's very ironic because he said that to Frieren, knowing Frieren is the elf mage from the hero's party that defeated the demon king. Because no one can say they're old in front of Frieren except Kraft the monk so far. So quite an awesome action-packed episode. And I hope you guys enjoyed my psychological analysis and the psychological profiling I did for Ubel and Warbel because of their moral injury, their detachments, nihilism, and the ASPD traits that I mentioned. And as always, if you enjoy my analysis, smash a thumbs up. Spread the algorithm, but also it really motivates me to give you guys the best content every single week. And before you go, if you can share this episode with one friend, bless them, but also bless us. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you, and your support means the world to me. I mean it. I do not say that lightly. And as always, until next time, peace.